Hello, and welcome to this recorded seminar for BUSG 1371. The purpose of this seminar is to show you how to get into the databases and the catalog to find materials related to logistics, the supply chain, or even reverse logistics. In fact, this seminar is going to concentrate on the effect that reverse logistics has on the supply chain. So to begin, from the main CTC website, if you scroll, the easiest thing to do is to scroll down to the very bottom of the page and click on the library link. This will take you to the library's main page. From here, click on the databases button, and then under the A to Z listing of databases, scroll down to the Gale Power Search. The login instructions are given right here at the top. Your username will be a lowercase c followed by your 7-digit CTC ID number. Your password will be your first and last initials in capital letters followed by your 6-digit birth date. Okay, when you're in the Gale Power Search, you have access to about 56 different databases. You do not need all of those items. If you come first to where it says Select All, Deselect All, click twice, and then choose which databases to pick up. Good ones to pick up are Academic One File, the Gale General One File, Business, maybe Economics and Theory, Entrepreneurship, and then maybe newspapers and popular magazines. You may also want to pick up Gale ebooks as well. Then just come to the search box and type in reverse logistics, and you'll see that you don't have to type in all of the information. You'll see that there is reverse logistics services. Down here at the bottom, you have supply chain logistics and reverse logistics services. And so you can basically come here and find information. I'm going to stick with reverse logistics as my primary topic. And this will be the results that I will see. Now, if you don't want to go through all 3,700 some articles, what you can do is you can narrow the focus a bit. One way of doing that is to use the search within and put in quote marks, reverse logistics. The quote marks say, look for this specific string, and then tell it to submit. And that will go and reduce things down a little bit. You can also come here to subjects and look at it from an e-commerce subject, and that reduces it further down. And then if you want to look at, say, returns, because that's what reverse logistics is all about. It's returns and refunds. And so what we can do is we can type in returns and tell it to submit. That brings it down a little bit more. I can also come here to the publication date, and I can change the date by clicking on the calendar, or I can actually type in the date that I want. And I'm going to do maybe about a 3-year period. And then I'll just click on today's date. and tell it to apply. And that brings things down to a reasonable size. From here, what I can do is I have an article, and this allows me to see the item. My keywords are in red, and you'll notice that I also have some items here that are in blue. If you find something that looks very good, you can come here to where it says explore more like this and find additional articles that are similar in nature. Down here you have related subjects, and so this may be something else that you want to look at. Up here, you'll see some icons on the left. This is a translate feature. It allows you to translate the article into one of 25 different languages. This is useful for people that find English difficult to read, or if you're practicing your foreign language skills. This is a good way of doing that. The next two icons allow you to decrease or increase the font size to make it easier for you to read. This one here with the capital A, lowercase a, is good for people with reading disabilities. Some people find that a white background is very difficult on the eyes, and so you can soften the background by changing the color to maybe a gray or peach or green color. You can also change the line, letter, or word spacing. When you're finished, you just click on Done. On your own computer, you can set those um, parameters, and it will stay that way on your own computer. This icon here with the little horn is a listen feature, and it will allow you to hear the article as it is read to you. It will also highlight the words and phrases as it goes along.
Reverse logistics in 2025, turning returns into a competitive advantage.
And as you can see, the highlighting is going on. These three black bars allow you to download the article as an MP3 audio file to your electronic device. Over here on the right, you'll see a couple of icons that allow you to upload the article to your Google Drive or OneDrive. Just make sure that you are logged into your account before uploading it. Otherwise, it goes to the library. You can email the article, you can download it, or you can print it. Now, up here at the top, you'll see the Cite tool. The citation tool defaults to MLA 9th edition, and the source citation that's offered is in MLA 9th edition. If your paper is supposed to be in MLA, that's fine. You just select it and then you copy and paste it into your paper. If, however, your professor says it should be in APA style, if you come here to the APA 7th edition link and click on that, this will put this in APA format. Now, I'm going to show you the difference between those side by side so that you can see the difference that you need to have for this. For MLA, when you select it and then copy it, bring up your paper and tell it to paste it in. I'm just pasting this in as plain text because I'll show you the correcting on the formatting a little bit later. If I come here and tell it to do APA and then select copy, and these are going to be the differences. What I'm going to do is a little bit of formatting at this time, this pre-formatting. So what I'm going to do is a Control A to highlight everything in the paper. I'm going to set the font to Times New Roman size 12. And I'm going to come and do a right mouse click of the font and select Times New Roman regular 12 and say OK. And the other thing I'm going to do while this is all highlighted, I'm going to come up here to the ribbon and make my spacing double. Then lastly, what I'm going to do is highlight both of these sources and put them into what's known as a hanging indented paragraph format. The way that you do that is you highlight the sources and then do a right mouse click, come here to paragraph, and right here where it says special, click on the little arrow, click on hanging, and say OK. That puts this into a hanging indented paragraph format. You'll notice that there is not an extra space between the sources. Now, I'm going to put these in different colors so as to distinguish them. I'm going to put this one into red and bold it so that it's easier to distinguish from the MLA format. Now, with MLA, when there's a publication date, you do not need the access date, so you can get rid of that. The other thing too is the name of the journal needs to be italicized. The name of the database also needs to be italicized. And then what you want to do is make sure that the title is in what's known as title case, the title of the article. So if you highlight the entire article and then come up here to the ribbon and use the change case feature to capitalize each word. Insignificant words like a, of, the are considered as insignificant. And so what you want to do is go through and change those. Now, with APA, it's kind of the reverse. Only the first word of the title and the first word of the subtitle are capitalized. Everything else is lowercase. So in this case, I'm going to make that logistics that way. And then down here, I'm going to make sure. Now, how to know when you have a subtitle or not? And the answer to that question is right here with the colon. Colon indicates a subtitle. So in this case, you have the T is capitalized, the R is capitalized, the its should also be capitalized as well. And again, you have a period, so the S is capitalized. And so what you want to do is make sure that titles of items are italicized, the journal, and then you have the URL afterwards. So that's basically what you want to do with finding items in MLA or in APA. And just to do a quick bit here, and that is now completely done. So that is how this will look. If this is APA, this will be in red. It'll say references, like that. And that's how you get your source citations for logistics from the Gale databases. Okay, so now we've seen how to find articles using the databases. Let's go into the catalog and see what we can find there. Now, the catalog does what's known as discovery searching. That allows you to find print books, ebooks, other articles, maybe videos, websites, e-zines, that sort of thing. And so what I'm going to do is try my search topic of reverse logistics. And you'll notice that I have, again, a type ahead up here of reverse logistics is right here. Um, and so I can also come and just click on that and we'll see what we get. This shows that there are 4,400 items that it has found. As I scroll down, you'll notice that there are some formats here. I can find articles and downloadable articles. I can also find print books and ebooks. So let me first see what we have with the print book. There is one item, and you'll notice that we have our keyword here, logistics, is underlined and bolded here. This particular item has a call number. It tells me that it's available. What's also nice is there is a citation feature. I can click on the cite tool and I can then select the Modern Language Association 9, and then I can copy and paste this information into my paper, and I will make this black because this is MLA and take off the bolding. And then I'm going to come back to my source, and then I'm going to show you what the APA version looks like. And that is this one here. It's the 7th edition. And I'll just copy that and put it in after. And this I will highlight and put this into my red and bold to distinguish it from the MLA. So everything that you're seeing in red is an APA style. Anything in black is going to be MLA. You'll notice again that there is the title. Everything is in title case. The title of the book is italicized. Same sort of thing with the APA. The title of the book is italicized, but everything is in lowercase. Now, the U of uncovering, because it's the first word of the subtitle, needs to be in uppercase. You'll also notice in looking at these two that APA puts the publication year in parentheses after the author's last name. Also, this should only be the author's initial. It should not be the full name. And then here you'll notice that the publication date is at the end. So that's a book. Now, what else can you get from the catalog to see if this is something worthwhile? If I click on the title of the book, this will give me the content information that I might be able to use. If it is, I can go and check it out. The other thing that the catalog does do for print books is it's a global catalog. And what that allows you to do is to see other libraries that might have this same title. It looks like there's only one title or one library that has this particular library, and that would be ours. If there were other libraries, you could see a listing here and then use the change location feature. You could put in a city, state, a zip code, or country, and tell it to change location. And what this will do is find the nearest library to your location. So if you're overseas, this is something you may want to do. Let me just see, we have, as an example, uh, let me try this one here and see if we have a little bit more. This will show you a little bit better of what I'm talking about. The other libraries worldwide, 99, and I can put in, say, London. Oops. London, UK. And it will tell me, okay, there's nothing in London, but it does tell me that there are some. The nearest one is like in Maine, and I can get the address. Sometimes I'll have the phone number. If I click on the miles, it will actually show me a map of where that particular library is. And Google seems to be taking a while to do its thing, so we will move right along, but it will give you a map to that location. So this is something that the library's catalog does do for you. Now, if I go back to our search results, up here you'll see the limiter that I used of print book. Now, you may find that ebooks are just as good. In fact, the only difference between a print book and an ebook is the format. An ebook has exactly the same kind of content that the print version would have. The only difference is that you can access the ebook from anywhere you have an internet network. Now, we do have something here, Sustainable Reverse Logistics Network. This tells you that it's available. If I click on the View ebook, this will take me to the ProQuest ebook central. This gives me the title. It gives me how much access there is to this book. Some books will have no access. You just read them online, and that's all there is to it. Some will have, it's available for 21 days of download, and others will say you can have it for as long as you want. And that's the case of this one here. Ebooks can be read online. You can download the ebook, or you can download specific chapters. It will tell you here that you can download up to 49 pages. So there are indeed some limitations here, and that you can have the book for up to 21 days, or how many pages that you can copy, and all like that. You'll notice that there is a citation feature. It defaults to MLA, and so what you can do is just copy that and we'll put this in to our formatting. Now, this et al shows up in MLA anytime there are 3 or more authors to the book. Again, you'll notice that the title of the book is italicized. The name of the database is also italicized. Now, the difference with this and APA, APA says that you list all of the authors of a book or an article up to 20 authors. And if there's more than 20, you list the first 19, and then you have a ... and then you list the last author. So you'll notice that here we have 3 authors, and when I copy that into my document so that you can see it side by side, I'll put this again into red. because it's APA, and just make it stand out a little bit more. But again, the title of the book is italicized, and this is in proper APA format. So that's how you find books in the catalog. This is, like I say, an ebook. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this and move it to the top of my list, because both MLA and APA state that the source citations should be in alphabetical order by either the author's last name or by the title, if there is not an author. And what I am doing is I'm just adding people's names to the dictionary to get rid of the red squiggles, like that. Okay, so that is how your source citations will look. Now, let me come back here and close this. Within the book, when you're searching with an ebook, what you are able to do is come here to the table of contents and just click on any of the items there, and there is a search within feature, and what you will do is we'll just put in returns, and it finds that there are 37 mentions of the word returns in the book. And so what I can do is click on an item here. This is a chapter 2, and you'll notice that there's a lavender line and it's quite long. When I click on the arrow next to it, it opens up a listing of where it found my keyword of returns, and it will take me right to that particular item. You'll notice here on the document, it has the page number. You might also go and say, oh yes, well, it's up here too. The only problem is that when you're doing stuff, when you come down a little bit on your page, you'll notice you might still be looking at page 38, but this will say page 39 here. This is important because you have the ability to basically select and copy items, and what you get is the ability to have an electronic note card. And what it will do is it defaults to MLA for the source citation, but this is something that you can use and then put like page 38 and then have an electronic note card. Just keep in mind that if you're using APA, you will need to use that source citation in that format. The icons up here, this is your download ebook. The print chapter is a PDF. This is a copy feature. The printing feature here prints to a PDF file. And then you have the ability to get the permalink and the source citation. And that is searching the catalog. Okay, earlier in this seminar, I was showing you how to get your source citations and put them into your document. I have separated out the MLA and APA so as to keep things clearer. Otherwise, it may get a little confusing. So what you're looking at is an MLA paper. And the reason I'm showing both MLA and APA is your professor may want to have your paper in APA style format, or your professor may want you to use MLA. It all depends on the professor. Logistics is one of those subject areas that either or style will work. So let me go ahead and begin. The first thing I want to do is put in the header. Now with MLA, the easiest thing to do is to come here and click on the Insert tab, come over to Header, and then choose the first blank item. Then come over here to Page, choose Top of Page, and then the last option here, number 3. And then that puts the page number flush with the right margin. Then you just type in your last name. Now, occasionally you'll see a little bit of strangeness going on here. I'm not quite sure why that is. What you can do is just put your mouse cursor to the left of your name, and it should automatically pull up the and change the number. There we go. And then just put a space there. And then if it acts ornery like that, you just go and highlight it. And then what you can do is tell it to do a right justification, and that will take care of that. The other thing you'll notice here is that the font is different, and so what we need to do is just change that. A lot of times there'll be a floating font box that shows up here. If it doesn't, you can change it up here on the ribbon, but you just want Times New Roman, and you want that to be size 12. And that's all there is to changing or putting in your header. So let me just double click, and that gets the header closed. Now the identification information will be your name, your professor's name, the course name or number, and then the day, month, and year. The month is always spelled out. Line spacing is uniformly double spaced, so there should not be any blank lines between the date, the title of the paper, or even the first line of your paragraph. Now, the title of the paper is centered. It's not bolded, underlined, or enclosed in quote marks. And then the body of the paper, the first line of each new paragraph is indented 1/2 inch in from the left margin. The easiest way of doing that is, well, actually there are two ways. One is just to hit the tab key, and it's set up for 1/2 inch increments. The other thing you can do is just highlight your text and then do a right mouse click, come here to paragraph, and then under special, use the first option of first line and then say OK. That will automatically do your indentions for you. And then when you need to do your typing, you just basically, what you do is just type your text and continue with your typing. When you're ready for a new paragraph, what you do is just hit the enter key again, and it will take care of the carriage return line feed for you and do your indentation. So that's how you go and set up your first lines. Basically, when you're typing, you just type. You don't have to worry about hitting the enter key until you're ready to start a new paragraph. Now, I do have a quote that you'll see here. And what I want to show you is when you're dealing with a quote or any other type of referencing of information in MLA, you want to provide the author's last name and the page number. Now, in this case, you'll notice that the works cited has the letters et al. After the author's name. The et al. Is a Latin abbreviation meaning and others, and it's included in the in-text citation. And the easiest way of getting it there is just to go ahead and to copy it, and then to come up here. And the easiest of all of the in-text citations is the parenthetical. It's a parentheses, the author's last name, the et al., a space, and then the page number, and you close quote, close parentheses. Now, I do not need the author's last name or any commas in my in-text citation. And that's what it should look like. Now, the other thing, I'm going to blow this up a little bit, is this particular quote has a period at the end of it. Periods and commas get moved from within the quote to after the in-text citation. And so your in-text citation for this particular item should look like this. Now, if you've got an item that does not have an author, let's say this particular source that's by Guzman Carranza, let's say that we did not know what Mr. Carranza's name was. All we had was the title of the article. Well, you're not going to put the whole title in. What MLA says is when you don't have an author, you use the first 1 to 3 words of the title. So if this was a title entry, then you would use this much information right here. And you include the quote marks because it's an article. And then you would put a close quote, then a space, and then the page number if you have one on the source. Now, in this particular case, you'll notice that it says pages 44 plus. When you have page numbers listed in the source citation, but the actual source does not have page numbers because it's maybe an HTML format, and that does happen, where you'll have a page range and then a source that's an HTML format, you provide the page numbers from the source if they're available from the source. So that's something you do need to watch out for. In the case of the book by Ken Pinto, let's say this particular How Much is the Milk? If we did not have an author for this book, it would be just how. And because it's a title, it's italicized. So that's basically how you will do it. And there are source citation guides that the library does have that you can use for figuring out what your source citation, your in-text citation should look like. So that's MLA. Okay, we've seen MLA formatting. Now let's talk a little bit about APA formatting. I've left this in red for the simple reason I wanted to keep it so it would look different. Now, when you're working with APA, it's very similar to MLA, but there are some differences. First of all, the header. When you click on the Insert tab and come here to Header, you want to choose again the first blank, and then you want to come and to the page number, top of page, the third option, and you want to highlight the page number. And again, you can change the font here. So since this is in Times New Roman size 12, I'll change that here. And because the rest of my paper is in red, I will also make this in red as well. And then I can either double click on the body of the page, or I can come up here to close header and footer. Okay, now APA requires a title, cover page. And what you want to do is on the top line of your paper, what you want to do is come down 4 lines. And these are double spaced lines. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. The title of your paper is given right here. If there is a subtitle, it will have like a colon and then subtitle, oops, of the paper, like that. Then right below there will be your name, the department name, a comma, the college's name. the course number, a colon, and then the course name, your professor's name, and then the paper's due date. And this can be in any format, day, month, year, or month, day, year. It does not matter. The title of the paper, you'll notice, is bold. Now, if I come down a little bit further on page 2, your professor may want you to have an abstract for your paper. The word abstract is on the top line of the page. It is bolded and centered. The abstract itself is flush with the left margin, and it should be no more than 250 words in length. The abstract is used to summarize any kind of concepts, ideas that you're going to present in the paper. It's also a good place to put in all of your initialisms and acronyms. So instead of saying CTC, you would say Central Texas College, parentheses, CTC, close parentheses. And that's how you define an acronym or an abbreviation. The keywords that are listed, the word keywords is italicized and indented 1/2 inch in from the left margin. There is a colon and then a listing of the keywords used in your paper. The words are in all lowercase and separated by commas. Um, if there's a proper name or noun, that will be capitalized. And that is what your keywords list should look like. Coming down to the body of the paper, the title of the paper should be exactly the same as what is on the cover page. So it should be, if you just do a copy and paste from your cover page to the first page of the body of your paper, that's what this will look like. Now, as with MLA, the first line of each new paragraph is indented 1/2 inch. So again, I'm going to just highlight my text, do a right mouse click, come here to paragraph, and come to first line and say OK. And that will take care of my indentions. Now, APA in-text citations differ from MLA in that you use the author's last name, a comma, and the publication year in the parenthetical in-text citations. APA style really wants you to paraphrase or summarize information. It does not really like you to do direct quoting. However, there are times when you do have to do a direct quote. When you have to give the page number from the source if it's available. If there is no page number from the source, you have to count the number of paragraphs down to where your text is coming from, or you have to give like the section header's name or like a chapter number or chapter title. So you have to give additional information. And with this case here, I do have a quote. So let me go down to my references list. The references, the word references is bolded and centered at the top of the page. Now with APA, you list 20 authors. If there's more than 20 authors, then what you need to do is list the first 19 and go ... and list the last author. When you're doing your in-text citations, however, you use the et al. So in this case, what I'll do is I'll capture my author's last name and copy it. This is from 2012. So my parenthetical in-text citation will look like this. I'll have my parentheses, the author's last name, space, et al., period, comma, 2012, comma. Now this was from page 41, so it's P period 41, close parentheses, and there is a space after that period. And as with MLA, punctuation marks like commas and periods are moved after the in-text citation like that. And that's how an APA in-text citation will look like. Again, to reiterate, if you have an author, you use the author's last name only, then the publication date, and they're separated by commas. So with APA, it's really recommended that you paraphrase or summarize the material rather than doing direct quotes, because you have to remember what page number that information came from. Okay. And again, now here's the other thing too with in-text citations and APA. Again, you use the first 1 to 3 words of the title. So with this one here by um, Guzman Carranza, if this was not, if this author was not known, and I had my in-text citation, I would use the first 1 to 3 words of the title, just enough information to point my reader. Now, the in-text citation will have a quote mark in front of, like, reverse. Same thing here with the Pinto book. If I did not know that Pinto was the author, I would use the first 1 to 3 words of the title, and it would be italicized. So those are basically very similar to what you would use with MLA, but this is APA, and you can always tell an APA source citation or in-text citation by the fact that if there is a year included, it's APA. If there's no year, then it's going to be MLA. MLA will also require the page number if it's there. If there's not, there's nothing. So that is how you do an APA style paper. I will also point out too that the header, you'll notice, is only the page number. You do not need to have a running head. You do not need to have your last name. So all it is just the page number, and that is how you do an APA style paper. Okay, let's talk about where you can get help anytime that you're needing it. Well, one way, of course, is you can come into the library and say, "Hi there, I need help." The staff at the front desk have been given a certain amount of training so that they can help you with basic questions. If you are needing much more in-depth assistance, you can say, "I need to talk with a librarian," or the staff at the front desk may realize that your question needs more assistance than they are able to provide, and they will call out for one of us to come out to help you. Now, if you're not able to come into the library, either because we're closed or because of distance, you can come to the Ask a Librarian, and it will bring up a form that you can put in your first name, email, your course or subject number. We kind of like to know where you're from, and then your information need. And it could be any kind of information. What kind of textbooks do I need to buy? I'm writing a paper. What databases would be good to select? What keywords should I use? And then you click on submit. When you do that, it sends an email message to us, and then within 24 hours, you should get a response back. When the library is open, that response time can be anywhere from a couple of minutes to a couple of hours. On days that we're closed, like during the breaks or over holidays or the weekends, that time may be anywhere from a couple of hours to no more than 24 hours. So we do like to answer our questions within 24 hours of our receiving them. And this is a service that the library does provide, practically speaking, 24/7, 365. If I scroll down a little bit, you'll see where it says contact us. This will give you our direct email address and our local telephone number. It will also have our toll-free in and out of state telephone numbers as well. Coming down a little bit further, we do have a chat service that is monitored when the library is open. The fact that this is not available right now means that somebody has stepped away from the desk and has temporarily turned it off. But when it is open, there'll be a box here that you can type in a quick question and get a response back, usually within a couple of minutes or a couple of seconds. You also have the ability to send us a text message from your cell phone. If you send it to 254 400 2275, and we'll reply back to your cell phone with a text message. The library hours are given right here. And if there are any kind of closures, those do tend to get noted up at the top up in this message area. Either that or there'll be, if the campus is entirely closed, it'll be on the CTC homepage. Um, as far as getting citation assistance, you do have access to the citation resources link that will give you a further link to the Purdue Online Writing Lab. This will provide information for doing in-text and source citations for MLA and APA. There are also sample papers that you can download in both styles. Coming back to the main library page, um, anytime you get stuck with a research paper, whether it's getting started, what kind of terms to use, how to access the database, anything at all from beginning to end of your research process, you can request an appointment uh, by just clicking on the link. You have three choices. There's no preference. The computer will set what is the first available. My colleague, Miss Oser, does her appointments only in the library. Um, I am the virtual librarian, and so I actually do mine in person, online, or over the phone. What you would do is you would select a date and then a time and tell it to continue, and then put in your name, your email address, and then indicate which type of an appointment you want. If you select the online appointment, what will happen when you click on confirm appointment is both you and the librarian selected will receive an email confirmation message that says your name has an appointment with this librarian at this date and time. And if there is a request for an online appointment, then the appointment is, you'll be sent a link for that appointment. There are various tutorials that you can watch. Now, there are some recorded seminars and LibGuides that you can use. For instance, for BUSG 1371, if you type in BUSG and then 1371, you'll see that there is a seminar on demand, And then what you would do is just click on this link or on the name of the seminar, and you'll have a recorded version of the seminar. There is an MLA sample paper. This is actually written instructions on the formatting of an MLA style paper, and that is available for downloading. If I come back to this research study guides, BUSG 1371 is logistics. And so if you type in logistics up here in the search box, there is actually a LibGuide for that topic, and we'll show you how to find books and ebooks that you can use, what databases might be good to use, um, internet resources that are available, films and videos that may have something that you are able to use as well, and then various citation tools. Now, this one shows the APA 7th edition. There's a little video here on the formatting of an APA style paper. But there is also one with the MLA LibGuide that will have a comparable video as well. So you do have access to that. Another feature that we do have is the research paper review. Research paper review allows you to email your course research papers, presentations, or discussion boards to us for proofreading. Please note the items that you submit should be related to CTC coursework. If you're enrolled at another college or university and submitting papers for those types of courses, we will not review those. This service is only for CTC students attending CTC classes. We also request that the item that is sent to us should be in a final draft version of the uh, research paper or the presentation or the blog that you're wanting to submit for course credit. The reason for that is when it's a rough draft, it takes anywhere from 40 minutes to a couple of hours to go through it all. That way, if it's a final draft, you will have done all of the self-editing and proofreading first and cleaned it up, checking for grammatical errors, spelling errors, punctuation, everything. You also want to make sure that your source citations match up with the actual documents that you would have found, and your in-text citations are formatted correctly. We do ask that it not be submitted as a PDF file or a link from SharePoint or Google Drive or OneDrive. For the simple reason we need to have your username and password in order to be able to access the material. If it's a PDF file, yes, we can convert it. That can take up to 6 hours to correct all of the configuration issues that come up with a conversion. So it's always best to send it to us as an attached Microsoft Word or Word compatible file. The turnaround time on getting your papers proofread is within 24 hours. Usually when we're open, that can be anywhere from 20 to 40 minutes after we receive it. It can also be a couple of hours, but when we're closed, it can be a little bit longer. But within 24 hours of our receiving it, you should get back 2 proofreading reports. One report will be the grammar report. We run your paper through Grammarly and then give you that report. And then we also look at your paper for readability, flow, and logic, and then we'll put bubble comments in the right margin, and then we'll submit those back to you. Little something, if you go and type in the email address teaching.learning@ctcd.edu rather than clicking on the link or copying and pasting it into your email service, if you leave off the D after the CTCD, and then you wonder why you didn't get anything, basically the email would have been teaching.learning@ctc.edu. That CTC is the Colorado Technical College. We are the Central Texas College District. That's what the D stands for. So it's very important to make sure that that D is in the domain name. But you should get your papers back, like I say, within 24 hours. If there's not, send us an email saying, hi there, I sent a paper in, I haven't gotten anything back. What we will do is look at our quarantine file and release it if it went there. Sometimes the computer server has a little glitch and will delay the sending. This does happen. It's rare, but it does happen. Um, anyway, that is how you get help from the library. And so we ask you to send us your papers, send us your presentations. Again, those should be a final PowerPoint presentation. And of course, your course discussion boards. So if you need anything, there will be a slide after this seminar ends with information and links for where you can get help. Okay.